Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, March 24th. Definitely having a great day here at in Toronto. Wanted to, before we start our webinar today, wanted to do a bit of a sound check. So if you can kindly, all attendees, or if you can just let me know if you can hear me, that would be great. If you can just put it in the chat box, that'll be amazing. Excellent. Thank you. All right. All right, thank you. I did want to sincerely, before we start today, apologize to all of our ICs for last week's technical difficulties. Our go-to-meeting webinar series needed to be renewed, and the system actually only does 6 months, and unfortunately we kind of missed that one on time. But we're back on track here, and what I will be doing today is touching base on some important news from last week and adding a couple of things from this week. So we'll probably be doing a little bit of catch up today, so that way you haven't missed anything important. A lot of new things happening in our industry in the last 2 weeks. So I hope that today's webinar we can get all caught up, and you have the latest news. We also, if we move on to our agenda, we have sales tip of the week as well. I'm going to be talking a little bit about a specific important sales tip. And I also have today Amalia with us. And Amalia, if you want to greet the ICs.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Sorry about last week once again, but we're glad that we were able to connect with all of you and that you're able to join us.
Excellent. So I guess, Amalia, you take it off today. We'll start with
Sure.
our friends at Google, as always.
Okay, well, today I'm starting off, basically we came across this article. It's called How Large is Google's Mobile-Friendly Algorithm? Is it larger than Panda or Penguin? So most recently, Google's webmaster representative Zanib Ait Bahaji, which I hope I pronounced correctly, team had quoted as saying that the upcoming mobile-friendly ranking algorithm will be launched as of April 21st. This will have a bit more of an impact on Google search results than Google Panda or Google Penguin did. Google did say that they did announce mobile-friendly ranking algorithm would have a very significant impact on the mobile search results. This is key as it will only be impacting the mobile results, and even so it will have more of an impact than Panda or Penguin. The question here is that they're saying, is this impacting 40% of the mobile search queries, whereas Panda impacted about 12% of all the English queries, and Penguin was closer to 4% of global queries across both desktop and mobile. We do know that the mobile-friendly algorithm only impacts mobile search results, so we assume that they're talking that it's only mobile impacted only. Google did not specifically release a percentage of queries impacted. It also believes that about 50% of all searches done on Google are on mobile devices. The big takeaway basically from all of this is if your site is not mobile friendly, be sure to work on it now. It's quite important that you do get that up and running. If 50% of your traffic from Google comes from mobile devices, it does sound like you're not mobile friendly. That virtually all the traffic from the mobile is a huge risk. So be sure to get that done and worked on.
Yeah,
Armando, do you have anything to add to that?
Actually, yeah, this is very important. I think that I know the ICs. I know the ICs are doing their due diligence and are pushing for this. And this is just an article that you can actually even share with your clients, and that's what we're also showcasing it because we're preaching to the choir, right? But the key thing here is that if your clients they do get, let's say, about right now we've seen an average from our clients here at ALM about mobile search ranging between 35 to 40%. In some cases, 50% are mobile, but we're seeing it 35 to 40. So if your search results are poor on mobile, that means that 35 to 40% of traffic that's coming from a mobile device or a tablet device is going to get impacted, right? It's not going to impact your rankings per se, on the desktop version, but in your mobile version for sure will have an impact. And I think that what Google's webmasters are talking about, and this was at the SMX in Munich, Germany, so it was a pretty big conference, is that they believe that this is going to have a larger impact on Panda or Penguins, specifically if you rely on a lot of mobile search results. So again, this is a great article or a great stat that you can present to your prospects or to your existing clients that are still thinking about it, and they shouldn't be thinking about it. They should be acting upon it, because you know what, you don't want to be on the back end, on the bandwidth, on the back end of the algorithm, and really suffer. I would recommend that, if your clients are not moving, if you have an SEO project with them, or adaptive SEO project, and they don't seem to be moving forward to mobile friendly website, you forewarn them, because you don't want to be in a situation where their rankings start going down in May, June, July, and they're going to be complaining about it. But I will say that this will have an impact. Again, it's not the end of the world, but it is something that Google has been forewarning us for a couple of months. So I think that this is a little bit more ammunition for you to share with your clients. Okay. And if they're putting a lot of efforts, as you've seen, they're even sending notifications to Google Webmaster Tools, and and they're talking about it. I mean, this is coming from Google's Webmaster team. It is serious. So your clients can say they weren't forewarned. Excellent. Now moving on to another piece of interesting news that was released last week in regards to Microsoft's Cortana. And if Microsoft's Cortana is basically Microsoft's digital assistant, if you will. Basically, they are ready to make it available to Android and iOS. And it's also another interesting tool, because not only are the other rival operating systems have their own, and I'm actually going to move forward on this one and come back, they have their own digital assistant. It seems that this is going to be very critical in the future. Perhaps not in 2015, but I would probably see this very important in 2016 and 2017, where, for example, you have Siri, which is a digital assistant. We have Google now, which is Google's, and now Cortana, which is Microsoft. Siri is obviously Apple-based or iPhone-based Apple technology. Google now is obviously Google's and Siri's. You can see that it's becoming more and more important. Okay, now this actually will be important in the future of search, because as you know, today search is done by typing in text-based search, right? But in the future, search will be voice-driven, right? So these digital assistants are going to be very, very important in the future, and we have to be kind of aware of the fact that it's just probably around the corner. So I wanted to share this with you, because the digital assistant is becoming a more and more useful tool, and even a study saying that I guess ages between 18 and under are using them more. 55% of those under 18 use voice search daily. That number grows 75% for those who are on their phones 11 or more hours per day. So it is becoming a very wide use tool. So something a bit of a futuristic news, where these assistant virtual assistants are going to be part of the overall search, because if you're asking them for information today versus actually typing information on your phone, in some point in the future, we're going to have that type of voice search recognition. So something interesting that I want to share with you. As a matter of fact, it is something that it's being more embraced by younger demographics than older. So I think that from what I read on this article on Search Engine Land last week, I think it was not only just 18, but I think it was like 20 or 25 and under. They're really using it. That's the next generation. So something to keep an eye on. Again, Google does have the greatest or the highest satisfaction rating according to a survey that was completed. Okay, so so yes, I think that these type of algorithm, this type of change in the industry will definitely have an impact on algorithms in the future. We may be 1 or 2 years from this, but it is something that will be coming in the near future. So I just wanted to share this, a little bit of a futuristic piece of information that you can share with your clients as well, right? Just to let them know how technology changes. I mean, this year's the year of mobile, and then next year, we're going to have something around the corner which is more voice related. Another very interesting piece of news that came last week from Google was in regards to a new doorway page penalty algorithm. And basically, this is coming probably in the next few months. It's going to be penalizing doorway pages, websites that are using doorway pages in a negative sense, just to kind of gain traffic, and it's a bit of a, in essence, it is black hat SEO. So they will definitely take action in the next coming months in regards to doorway pages, and Google does not want to rank doorway pages in their search results. And believe it or not, the main one, I mean, this happened about a year and a half ago when we had some of the algorithm changes where it was totally against doorway pages, and people are still, or SEO experts and even webmasters are still using doorway pages to cheat their way into rankings. However, Google hasn't forgotten about that, and they're definitely going to be looking at penalizing these type of users, or at least the websites that are using doorway pages. I'm going to spend some time a little bit on what is considered a doorway page in the next few minutes. But just wanted to show, if you don't know what a doorway page is, doorway campaigns manifest themselves as pages on a site as a number of domains or a combination thereof. To improve the quality of search results for our users, we'll soon launch a ranking adjustment to better address these types of pages. So how do you know if you're using a doorway page? Or let's say you met a prospect who's talking about their SEO strategy combining some sort of doorway page. Well, basically, these are things that you should be aware of that are a no-no. So is the purpose of this page that you created to optimize for search engines and funnel visitors into the actual usable or relevant portion of your site, or are they an integral part of your site user's experience? So sometimes these doorway pages are just created, many years ago, these were just pages that were created with keywords that were not relevant to your website. So obviously adult sites used to use them a lot. Also gamers used to use them a lot as well. But more recently, there's still I've seen a couple of instances in some prospect sites where they come with these pages, and they have content in them that sometimes is not necessarily user friendly, or has something to do with the website, or in some cases they're just hidden pages that are overly optimized, right? Are the pages intended to rank on generic terms, yet the content presented on the page is very specific? So again, misrepresentation of the product or service you're offering. You're focusing on a generic term, yet it has pretty much no value. So it has to do with the value that you're giving in your content. Do the pages duplicate useful aggregations of items, locations, products that already exist on the site for the purpose of capturing more search traffic? Again, in some instances, if you are using, let's say, service location pages, you want to make sure that these pages are unique with unique content. And many times, websites that service multiple locations, they will start creating all these pages out there, and they just continue to use at least 80% or 90% of the same content, and all they do at the bottom is change, let's say, the address or the location, and they're still focusing on the same keyword, just with a different geo target. Again, it's a spammy. It could be considered a doorway page because it has no relevance to the actual location of the service. So if you are using location pages for a client that has multiple locations, make sure that 80 to 90% of the content is very unique, that the content is well thought out, and that it actually provides an added value. Are these pages made solely for drawing affiliate traffic and sending users along without creating unique value or content or functionality? Again, they're kind of almost like phantom pages. Do these pages exist as an island? Are they difficult or impossible to navigate to or from other parts of your site? Are links to such pages from other pages within the site or network of sites created just for search engines? Again, as you can see, these are all spammy tactics. Okay, so if you have any questions on the proper way of, let's say, creating location pages or multiple service pages, feel free to ask your supplier. You can also send us an email, and we'll be more than glad to share with you some of the ways that we properly do it at ALM when we have multiple location pages. But anyhow, there is something coming down the pipe in regards to the negative use of doorway pages. Okay, I know there's some questions on this, so definitely I will address them as I move forward because it is an important topic, and as a matter of fact, we actually have created a bit of a general email to give more information. So, Amalia?
Yes, yeah, I'm back here. Let me just take a look here. So in regards to Google, they're also now at the point of flagging broken security certificates in the search results. So right now, Google may be flagging sites that have any broken security certificates in search results. This may also boost ranking benefit on login pages to prevent phishing attempts. Okay, so 0.5% of the security certificates on the web are broken certificates, and Google is currently experimenting with trying to address the problem in the Google search results. Working on an internal experiment to flag sites that have broken security certificates as well. This is basically they're working on this to possibly boost the ranking of secure login pages even more that they do with the normal HTTPS ranking boosts. This ranking boost on login pages may help ensure copycat sites that don't rank for the login pages. Google does take the web security seriously and will continue to adapt the HTTPS algorithm and efforts going forward. So they are in the process of trying to improve this, so the ranking will be linked to actual, secure, properly adjusted sites versus broken sites or copycat sites. And Armando, did you want to add to that as well, or?
Yeah, just give me a quick second. I just got a bit of a delay on my side. Yeah, definitely. This is something that's also very important, specifically if you have e-commerce clients, and sometimes e-commerce clients or clients that are taking confidential information, they forget to renew their security certificates or SSL. So again, just make sure that as an IC, make sure that if you still have a client that you are responsible for their e-commerce, have make sure that you have like a reminder to properly renew their SSL certificate. And if let's say you do have a client that has an SSL certificate that's no longer using it, just make sure you remove any type of code that has been added, because even though let's say he's no longer using the SSL certificate because they don't need it, but if you have the SSL badge on it, and usually the SSL badge comes with that certificate, it may impact your site. So it is something that you should be aware of. The other thing is, if let's say due to the fact that Google a few months back talked about the benefits regarding SSL certificates, where a site that has an SSL certificate will, it's a good ranking factor. Again, just make sure that the SSL certificates installed properly, it's active, and it's renewed at the given time. So again, it's just, I guess, Google's way of cleaning up some of the things that are happening on the net. Okay, I am getting some questions in regards to doorway pages and so on. So just to kind of go back to that, I will share some examples just before I start the case study. The tips, sales tips. Okay, so I'm going to share one or two examples in regards to doorway pages. Okay, that way you have that. Amalia, you want to talk about the mortgage calculator?
Absolutely. There's like a really quick small update here. Yahoo Search has now added mortgage calculator, so that could help us all calculate our potential debt future. Anyways, Yahoo Search has quietly added, once again, this new quick answer to help search results for mortgage-related searches. So when you search for mortgage calculator or similar searches, Yahoo will show an interactive mortgage calculator now on the top of the search results, above the organic results, but below the search ads. So the calculator works for both home purchases or refinances, asking you to basically specify the mortgage value or mortgage amount, the loan term, interest rate, and down payment. So it does the full calculation for you. So they've added this to their search results, and so that'll make it a little bit make it easier for people searching, for any sort of mortgage calculator of sorts. The output will show your monthly payments in principal and interest, and will even break down your tax and insurance payments. So I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's a neat tool, and it's only just to kind of recap, it only works right now in the U.S. So it's for Yahoo.com or U.S. searches, and the only thing I kind of don't like about it myself is the fact that it kind of pushes all of the paid advertising and your organic results a little bit down. However, it's a great tool. It's following the footsteps of Google's mortgage calculator, which was released, I think, earlier this year or late last year. So again, it's just a nice to have, and that Yahoo's kind of trying to keep up to date with what's happening, specifically with the fact that I know that there's we'll talk about it next week, but I know that their last month's results, they've actually been losing some traffic. So their strategy or their partnership with Firefox is not kicking in all gear. So I guess they're trying to create different things tools to keep their customer base happy, as well as try to bring on new users to it. So again, it's just something that we wanted to share with you. Of no, I guess not a big value to it, but just the fact that they are doing that to make the user experience better. And if you are, if you do have a client on the mortgage, a mortgage broker, or it'll be something that you can share with them. The other piece of information in regards to Google, again, that was shared in Munich SMX, was in regards to mobile autocomplete on forms for mobile. So as you know, these are very popular for desktops, which is the autocomplete feature that forms do have. So if you go into a website and you go into a form and you just type in your name, basically if the autocomplete's on, pretty much your all of your information, or the majority of the information, will be auto-fill or auto-completed. So what Google is really strongly recommending in order to enhance the experience of your mobile users, specifically when you're on your mobile, it's not as easy to type as you are on your desktop. So they want you to improve mobile user conversion. They want you to provide a better user experience. They are recommended that all mobile websites or responsive websites should implement autocomplete. So this is a bit of important. It has something to do with the ranking factor, but just more on a user experience. And this is coming from Matthew Perot from the Chrome team, and also Sineb Bahaji from the Webmaster Trends group. It's really about that user experience, and if you have that auto completion attribute, it actually makes it easier for a user to complete a form on their phone, right? It's much faster. So hopefully, it's not for people that are driving and trying to complete a form, but it's a nice to have. Okay, and it definitely, from what they're seeing, it's also a good idea to increase conversions because it makes it more user friendly. It's not an annoying form. It's really something that they can just type in perhaps their name, the first name, and as soon as they type in the first name, the whole form pretty much completes itself. Right. So what is the takeaway from here? Well, if you are building new websites, make sure that you talk to your team if it's a nice to have, and let's say you do have a client that really is looking for lead generation, maybe that's something that you should add to the plate to make sure that the forms are autocomplete, not only for desktop versus for mobile. So it's a nice to have. Again, this is for conversion optimization purposes. It's not for ranking. Okay. One other thing that happened, as you were aware, the Google-Twitter partnership happened. I think it was earlier this year, a few weeks back, as a matter of fact. And there was a lot of buzz around that, and people wanted to know, what happens next. What is the Google-Twitter partnership? What are the benefits and what are the cons, right? As a matter of fact, it didn't shake a little bit of the industry because you have at least the giant Google partnering up with Twitter, which they had to partner. They partnered before a few years back, and that partnership didn't work. So why now? And what is it that you need to know about this partnership? So this is a great article. As a matter of fact, it's on Search Engine Land by Neil Patel. And one of the things that he talks about, there's a number of things that he talks about that are benefits specifically from an SEO slash social media perspective. And now that Google has access to the stream of tweets, they call it the fire hose, right? In the past, what would end up happening is that as these tweets were posted, then Google would actually crawl the tweets. So imagine millions of tweets being posted online, and then Google's bots had to go and crawl them. So it took a lot of time. So now that method has been made more efficient because now Google has access to what they call the fire hose. So basically, the fire hose is really, they're actually just grabbing the information as it comes before it actually gets posted or indexed. Sorry, indexed. That's a key word. So before, it took longer. So now, with Google having access to the fire hose, now they have access to about 9,000 tweets per second. So that means that the indexing process is much, much faster. Okay. Now let's look at some things that are described in this article in regards to the partnership. So what does Google get from this? Okay. Why would Google want to, as Neil Patel puts it, cozy up with Twitter? One of the key things that he talks about is because Google's all about information and preferably timely information, and Twitter gets timely information. Now, it's just not about, generic tweets, because as a matter of fact, you have an option whether you want to make the tweet public or private. So if it's a private tweet, only your network gets, or your followers get it, sorry. So if it's a public, everybody can read it, right? Now, the good thing about this is, as you know, there's been this could be used for a good cause. It has been used a lot during the Arab uprising, during the conflict with Russia and Ukraine, and so it has become. Twitter has become a force in itself for providing up-to-the-minute information, right? It is that because of the the way Twitter posts are relayed or are posted, it's very fast. So now Google can leverage from that, right? Again, we'll leverage from the public tweets, right? Now. And that just creates, just gives it more of more information. So that's one of the things that Google gets from the partnership. Now, what's in it for Twitter? Well, apart from the fact that they get a massive exposure because now their tweets are going to be posted on Google. If you look at it, right now, Twitter as a social media property has the smallest market share. And as a matter of fact, they lost 10% between 2013 and 2014. Back in 2013, they had 46% of their users visit their site daily. In 2014, that number dropped to 36. So, it is what they consider it is the weakest social media property, right? As a matter of fact, only 19% of the U.S. adult population uses Twitter versus Facebook, which is 58. So as you can see, they're really behind. So the more the visitors that Twitter gets, the better. There's also opportunities for higher ad revenue, right? That's what it's all about. Advertising, more signups, so more people joining Twitter, and more engagement. So as they see these Twitter posts on Google search results, obviously that 19% in the U.S. alone should increase. Okay, obviously I would imagine that worldwide the numbers, or at least the market share, is probably very similar. However, that's what's in it for Twitter. They get this massive exposure on the largest search engine. Now, again, going back to why Google also benefits from this, because it's real-time marketing, and that Twitter is quintessential. It's real-time news feed. It's user-generated, conversational, hashtag, and global. So there is a great value even to its users. Okay. Now, who's going to see the tweets in Google search? Anyone who searches on Google. But like I said, there is a private and public a way of sharing those tweets. Now, right now, Google doesn't have a method of how they're going to be featuring these tweets. There's various ways. It could be on the organic search results. I mean, there's various ways that they're talking about, but nothing has been defined. Experts are saying that we're going to start seeing these posts clearly defined probably in the next in Q2 or Q3, right? But as of now, it's not active yet, but it's coming. Now, how does it impact, let's say, our industry, right? Social search is bigger than ever. So if you are in search marketing, you need to be aware of social. And if you're in social, you also need to be aware of search marketing. So as you know, there's a bit of a division between SEO experts and social media experts, right? Sometimes there's a little bit of a battle against them. At least for ICs, because we work in this industry and we're agnostic and we use everything to our power, this means that, you know what? Something is coming down the pipe that we got to be aware of. So you definitely have to think about implement. If you're doing SEO for a client, you have to implement a social media strategy, and that's what our adaptive SEO methodology has been talking about for over a year. And I can tell you that people are still neglecting their social. And I'm not just talking about mom and pop shops. I'm talking about major organizations. Right now, we are working with an organization here in Toronto with one of the ICs, a billion-dollar company that still does not have a proper social media strategy, okay, for their customers. They're using social media right now for the mere fact of either internal usage or for hiring practices or for recruiting people, as opposed to having a social media strategy to engage their customers, their members. So I can tell you that if you are doing SEO and not social, that's bad. Now, if you're doing social and not SEO, that's also as bad. So just to keep in mind that social search is an important mix of the overall digital marketing strategy. Okay. The other question that comes up is, okay, so why is Google focusing on Twitter rather than on Google Plus? Well, that's a great question. Okay, specifically since let's say as of last year, Google did kind of take down or let's say deactivated or terminated their Google authorship, and less and less has been said about Google Plus. I personally believe that Google Plus is still value, and I've seen sites that have a lot of activity on Google Plus and get ranked very high. I was reviewing a site a few weeks ago, one of the ICs brought this site where they haven't done any SEO, but because they've done so much social media on Google Plus and they're very active, that has rubbed off into their SEO little or basic SEO strategy they have. So I personally believe that Google Plus still has some importance. However, what the experts, or at least Neil Patel, says is that, is this the end of Google Plus? I mean, by this, are we forgetting about this tool? I wouldn't turn it off. I wouldn't give it up yet. I think that Google Plus is still something that should be used. Maybe its importance is not as big as Twitter will become in the next year or so. As a matter of fact, even TechCrunch declares the prospect of real-time Twitter returning is yet another signal that Google's stepping off the gas for Google Plus. It may be so, but that doesn't mean you want to stop also doing some social media optimization in Google Plus. Okay. As a matter of fact, you want to make sure that you're doing that you're covering your bases. So it's very interesting for Google Plus. As a matter of fact, last year when I was at one of Google's one day conferences, I talked to one of the I think it was a senior director or a VP of marketing, and I asked him about Google Plus and what's happening with Google Plus. Obviously, this is the Google Plus Canada office. They didn't have a lot of information to share. They didn't give me a good strong answer in regards to the importance of Google Plus. However, they said that it wasn't their priority, quote unquote, right? So it looks like even though it's not their priority, doesn't mean that Google cannot revive this or put more efforts into this social media property. So what should you do now? Okay, what you should do now for your clients, right? Like I said, Q2, Q3 will really define what's happening in regards to how these tweets are going to be featured on Google search engines. So just stay tuned for that. And as a matter of fact, if you are using Twitter right now for your clients, if you're make sure that you're doing the proper optimization. Add your keywords, hashtag, make them relevant, etc., engaging. So that way, when things do begin to really start featuring, then you already have a foundation. Now, what should you do now in regards to the use of Twitter? As far as your ongoing marketing efforts are concerned, you should be using Twitter as well. Okay, you want to make sure that don't just focus on Facebook or don't just focus on Google Plus or just on Pinterest. You want to have a good mix. And typically, with our adaptive SEO packages, we tend to focus on Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, as well as a bit of YouTube, right? So you just want to make sure that you are bringing Twitter into your social media mix, because you want to make sure that you're maximizing the reach of your audience, and obviously, if you do that, and if you're doing it already, you'll be able to gain some traction on the site's upcoming upswing, because it is coming, right? We probably won't see great results today, but I believe that hopefully by the fall or end of the year, Twitter will start gaining some momentum. So again, word of advice to the ICs: do not neglect social media, and if you are using social media, always keep in Twitter in your mind when you're developing a social media strategy. Okay. Another key thing that I wanted to share, which was I think these are very great. As a matter of fact, if you give me a second, I'm going to see if I can, at the end of the webinar, or just before the end, I want to post these three slide shares. Basically, at SMX 2015, SMX West 2015, there was a number of presentations, and there's a lot of information that came out. And I actually was reading an article on Search Engine Land, and I found these three great presentations that I think the IC should review, and obviously make your own deductions, because they are great. These are three great SEO experts, but like anything, right? They all have their own opinion on how to implement SEO. However, they do have great information. So there was three key takeaways. One was from Dr. Pete Mayers in regards to search engine result pages continue to change. Direct answers in search engine result pages by Eric Enge, and eye tracking, how users view and interact with Google search results. So if you have some time over the weekend and as opposed to watching TV, you can kind of go through these slides. A lot of information, some great graphics that you can even introduce into your own presentations for your IBAs or your final presentations. Great information that was shared from SMX. And again, I would recommend that you read it, review it, and then make your own deductions. They are very worthy, notable SEO experts, but again, sometimes they're contradictory, right? So make sure that you take that into consideration. But great material. So I'll put those in on the chat box for you to review them. And as a matter of fact, once you go into this SlideShare category or slash category, you'll see all of the different presentations from Search Marketing Expert. But I thought these three were definitely great, specifically number 1 and number 3. I kind of went through it, and they had some very valuable information that you should be aware of. Good information. Okay. Next. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of a pause here, and I wanted to quickly share a little bit about some of the tools that you can use if one of your clients' sites has been penalized. And now we always do get requests from ICs in regards to what are the best tools to check if a website has been penalized or it has been penalized, and what's the best way to see if we can do the best way to recover some of it. So these are 8 great tools that you should be using, and obviously you don't necessarily need to work with your supplier. You can start working on that and detecting that, and these tools will help you identify, assess, and in some cases even give you what needs to be done in order to fix the site issue. So just give me a quick second here. I'm just going to put ourselves in pause. Let me just go to the article because I thought this one I wanted to share with you. Okay, just give me a quick second. Okay, and please note that some of these are free tools. These are free tools, and if you come up with a site that has been penalized, and let's say you need to know the answer right away, you can do this yourself. You don't need the production team to help you. It's always good to get a second opinion, though. But you can definitely look at this. So number one is Fetch as Google. As you know, this is part of the Google Webmaster Tools interface, and basically you can definitely detect errors, basic errors, whether your URL is being redirected or blocked by robots .txt. So this is a great tool. This is number one tool that's recommended because Fetch as Google, pretty much what that means is that the Google, the results are the results as if you were the Google bot. So it actually renders as the Google bot. So this is a pretty good one to check out, and it definitely gives you some information. Number two is Screaming Frog Web Crawler. Again, this is another tool. I believe that this tool, if I am not, I believe that there is a free version as well as a paid version. But you can definitely, it is a download, a free download. So you can download it, install it in your computer, and you can run it. And again, it definitely gives you some information across your sites. It finds problems such as thin or duplicate content, dead ends, internal redirects, and other combinations. My only thing about anything, and that's just personally me, is because you have to download it to your computer. You may get some annoying free advertising from time to time. But I also have heard that it's a great tool. Some ICs use it. Some of our team members have used Screaming Frog. So it's something that you should consider, Screaming Frog Web Crawler. Majestic SEO, it's another one that the ICs use. Again, Screaming Frog Web Crawler, Majestic SEO is another one that you should consider. This one, this one has both a primarily a paid service. So, I don't know if you want to go right away and start using it unless you're getting a lot of these type of sites. But what it does do is it does help you analyze the link profile of your client site as well as those of their competitors. And it does give you a very detailed report on anchor tags. It gives you red flags for over optimization and other problems. Again, it is a tool that's recommended. It's not the only tool. I've heard good and not so good reviews about it. So it's Majestic SEO is another option. Hrefs, basically this is a popular tool site for finding bad links. I know that there are some toxic link software out there or tools as well, and some of them are paid. Hrefs, I believe they do actually. This is the one that I believe they have both a free and also a paid option. Actually, sorry, this is a paid service. So again, if you have, it may be worth your while or the investment if you do have a client that they're totally, they need some help and you may want to use them. Okay. So it is one of the most effective tools for inbound link analysis and detailed backlink reports. So if they've been penalized for spammy linking, and this is one of them. Another one is monitor backlinks, and actually this one feeds off from your Google Webmaster Tools. So it definitely verifies those backlinks. It's another great tool that you can also consider. Copyscape is one for checking duplicate content. Okay, and another great tool that you can also use if you have the hunch that your client is not telling you the truth, that they're using duplicate content. They do have a free version for Copyscape. I just want to make sure that you get as much information as well. Another great tool that shares, and this is, I know that it's really just to kind of give you a history of Google's algorithm change, and it's not really a diagnostic tool. It's more of a if you are looking at a site that got penalized, let's say on a specific date, you can use this as a tool of reference to see when Google's algorithm happened. So if, let's say, the algorithm happened in November 2013, it could have been because of one of the major updates. So anyhow, this is a great tool as well that you should have in your arsenal. You don't have to have all 8. You can have, you can use 2 or 3 of those. And obviously the most important ones that we always recommend to the ICs is Google Webmaster Tools. In some cases, Google Webmaster Tools is not available because the site hasn't, the webmaster or the actual site owner hasn't installed it, but it's always good to install it because this is, to me, it's like your doctor, right? Your Google doctor. So you will be able to get rid of duplicate content, disavow spammy backlinks, fix broken links. It has a lot of information. So this is a must, right? And even if the site that you are inheriting doesn't inherit it with the penalty doesn't have it, this is the first one that I would add. Okay, so 8 great tools that I kind of wanted to share with you, and hopefully, so again, Fetch as Google, Screaming Frog Web Crawler, Majestic SEO, Hrefs, which is a paid service, Monitor Backlinks, Copyscape, Moss's Google Algorithm Change History, and Google Webmaster Tools. Okay, sometimes you need to kind of get information on the go, and these are great tools that you can use. Amalia, you want to talk a little bit about the Digital Summit?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is basically a quick reminder to everyone that where the Digital Summit is taking place on April 16th, and the registration is open. It is definitely designed for those who are passionate about branding and marketing and all things digital. So you will find this very informative and beneficial to attend. The contributors, as you can see, is the WSI co-founder Dan Monahan. Our very own Armando Lask will be present. Jack Porter from Paid Search, Matt Irving from BigCommerce, Chris LaRiviere from GE Shift will be attending, Alex Hummels, from Google, and Corey Aridin from HubSpot will be also attending. So once again, registration is open. We do recommend that you do attend if you can, and that will be taking place on April 16th.
Yeah, and it's also a
Armando?
great. Yeah, it's also, thank you, Amalia. It's also a great way for you to introduce your clients or your prospects, as a matter of fact, to a forum where you have multiple contributors. And I think based on the success that WSI had in the UK, it was a great success. We're hoping that in Toronto, if you're an IC in Ontario and want to participate, just get just get a hold of the team at THO, and they'll help you. Again, this is a great way also for lead nurturing. One of the ICs that we work very closely with, Heidi Schwendi, I like to call her our social media queen. I can tell you already she has, I believe, 40 participants that are all in her network, and she has invited them through her social selling strategies. And these are people, and I'm not talking about just mom and pop prospects. I'm talking about mid-level enterprise prospects that she's inviting to the event. So the reason we're promoting this here, it's because we know that we get ICs from Ontario. And sometimes they're like, well, I don't know if I should invite. If you have 1 or 2 people or 3 people that you think will gain from this, and sometimes they just need a little push to sign that contract, I would invite them. Right? It's a great way of doing it because, as you can see, we have various different topics that will be discussed, and definitely it's worthwhile. It's a free event, and I mean you can't miss it. Okay, if you are in this area. And I'm actually doing this to encourage other ICs across North America and Latin America and Europe to try to work with their regional WSI IC directors to continue this, because I think it's of value. Like I said, we had a very small Google breakfast, I believe, with about 50 people back in January. I think it was about 50, 60. I can tell you that, for example, Heidi Schwendi, she had invited about 30 of them, and out of 30, she closed 2 accounts. Okay, it's a one-day event. It's like a networking. It makes sense. 30, you're closing 2 out of 30. I mean, and it does definitely make sense to invite people, and it's very informative as well. So it's not a salesy event, very informative event. So okay, wanted to share that with you quickly. I know I wanted to go over the link, so I apologize. I'll definitely try as fast as possible to share the links in regards to the doorway pages. But I do have a topic that I wanted to discuss in the last few minutes in regards to sales tips. Very important. I always get the question, how do you deal with budget? So how to conquer the fear of asking the dreaded budget question. And one of the things that I've seen with the successful ICs is that it starts with your process, it starts with your system. So if you're properly using, let's say, the IBA during your discovery session, your initial session, the IBA should be a guideline, not a questionnaire. Because if it's a guideline, well, you're kind of walking them through this IBA rather than just going through a bunch of questions. It becomes a meaningful business conversation that leads to establishing trust, uncovering pain, and their needs, right? So that's what's important about it. Right? Don't just grab the IBA and go question by question. As a matter of fact, before you do an IBA with a client, you should actually already have detailed the key questions that you want to ask. You may not need to ask 30 questions. You may only need to ask 10 or 15 that are very crucial and critical. Right? So the whole thing about using the IBA is to be a guideline. If you do this, this is your foundation, because you're going to be open, confident, and straightforward. You know what you're talking about. As you move through the IBA, you then want to start tying in budget questions that are going to get them talking, and not just about a yes or a no answer. So, some of these are what they call leading questions, right? And know when to address these leading questions. For example, you could say something about, typically the companies that we consult at WSI invest between 9 to 10% of gross revenue in advertising or marketing activities. What is the percentage your company has allocated for overall advertising marketing activities in 2015? Again, you would pose this question to, let's say, a mid-sized company. A mom and pop shop, you got to kind of change it a little bit, because they may not have, they'll tell you they haven't allocated any budget because they don't. So again, know when to use the question, right? Or another option is, when investing in advertising, what is the budget process that your organization usually like, right? What is that process? Right? Who's the final decision maker? They may have an internal process with a specific decision maker. You need to know that. So after they answer this question, right, you may have a follow-up. Have you already allocated funds for marketing to address your needs? Right? So lack of lead generation or lack of web visibility. If the answer is no, then you have another follow-up question, which is, if you came across a solution that could address your need, could funds be reallocated? Right? So you can even personalize it. If I was able to provide you with a digital marketing solution that could address the needs that you have spoken to me about today, could funds be reallocated? Right? Again, you don't have to ask the questions exactly as I'm posing them here, but this is a good framework that you can use and lead them to answer the question that you want. Right? And another option is, for the most part, at WSI, or I, as a consultant, as a WSI consultant, I work with just about every budget, right? However, in order for me to give you the best marketing solution, the best digital marketing solution or service and value, I must know what the budget is. For example, if you are looking for a Honda Accord or a BMW series, right? You may want to give them a car analogy. Okay, again, know when to pose these questions. Perhaps you're kind of embedding them towards the end, right? Not at the beginning, towards the end. There are some questions that you can prepare for, and I'm going to go to the next slide quickly. But there are questions these are questions you can ask, and they are non-intrusive. You're just trying to find about them as part of your process, right? And you want to make sure that that you're getting this. You're not just going to ask, what is your budget? You kind of want to lead them. So choose one or two or three of these questions in advance, put them in your IBA, and as you're going through them, when they're coming. It just becomes seamless, right? That's the key thing. You want it to become seamless. Now, here is one thing that I learned from actual HubSpot. Somebody told us that HubSpot copy WSI, but in the way that HubSpot actually qualifies HubSpot prospects or client prospects that will qualify for inbound marketing, they have actual four general questions that you can pretty much ask at any time. So, for example, in your initial questionnaire, in the initial section, you can talk about, what are you currently doing to generate leads. Here, the key thing is listen for evidence of their activity in marketing, marketing or level of marketing investment, right? So it's an open question, right? Or what are your plans for marketing for 2015 or 2015, 2016? Again, listen. Sometimes prospect will be very open. Sometimes this question may not give you the information that you want, so you move on to the next one. Have you seen a positive return on your marketing investment in the past? In some areas, perhaps yes. Do you plan on increasing your marketing spend this year? If no, do you plan on decreasing your marketing investment this year? Why or why not? This is a total qualifier question that will tell you right away, if they have the money. Always remember, time, interest, money, right? Time, interest, money. Another strategy is where you're planning on investing in marketing to meet your goals. Now, when you sit across a prospect, they'll tell you they want to, they have all these grandiose goals about their business, right? But at the end of the day, it comes down to how much they want to invest. You and I know that because we are marketeers. However, as you go through this process, you want to ask, okay, great. You told me a lot about what you want to do. That's great. Now, what were you planning on investing in marketing to meet those goals that you're very passionate about, that you want to achieve in 2015 or 2016? Right? So these are general questions that you can pepper in your conversation throughout the IBA, right? Obviously, it's up to you to build that strategy. Don't just grab the IBA and start asking questions and let the IBA give you the answer. No, you want to kind of have, if this is a challenge for you, the budget question, go prepared. Take 15, 20 minutes before your meeting and prepare yourself, right? Here's three scenarios, I guess three of the most common scenarios that you can have or can encounter with some of your clients. If you ask a client, what is your budget? And they go, well, I have one, but I'm not going to tell you. So then you can follow up. Why not? You got to be very honest. Why would you not tell me your budget? Because and then they may respond, if I tell you, you will do everything you can to hit that number. Well, the possible answer is yes, definitely. That is exactly what I'm going to do. My goal is to give you the best solution and value for budget. I want to make sure that I present you with a solution that's going to meet your needs and your budget. So again, you can use the analogies of cars, right? And sometimes, these questions could be a segue to the answer, meaning that, may break the icebreakers, right? Okay. The other one is, for example, another common one is, I don't know what my budget should be. Very good. So as an educated and well-prepared IC, you should know the average cost of solutions and services we provide. So if you look at a business, if you've done your due diligence, in advance, you kind of can tell, a little bit about, what this company is doing. If you've done your homework before the IBA, you can see, interesting. They may fit into this category, right? So you could tell the client what the average is and explain that this means some marketing campaigns are more and some are less, but the number is a good gauge of what their budget should be. So if they're a $1 million a year revenue, this is what it should be. If you're a 2.5, between 1 to 2.5 or 1 to 2.5, this is what you should have. If you're 2.5 to 4, this is what you should have. If you're 100 to 500,000 a year in sales revenue, this is what you should have. Okay. Because of your experience, you should already kind of know what your other clients are investing, right? And at least it gives you an idea to give them some averages. Okay. What if a client doesn't want to give you a budget? Okay. Now this is very interesting. Recommendation that was given by a top sales professional in the IT industry, and in this one was, in this scenario, is it better to walk away? If after a reasonable explanation that you've given them on why you need the budget, they still don't want to give it to you, then you have to really ask yourself, is this a serious buyer? Because if we're going to do business, I'm not gonna, there's an aspect of selling and developing trust, but I'm not gonna sell you hard on taking my services. Because then you know what? You don't want to inherit a problem child. So anyways, these are some of the generic strategies that you can take. We are preparing a more in-depth webinar with Toronto, with THO in the coming months. So I hope that this helps you, because I know this is one of the hot topics that come up all the time in regards to the budget question, specifically with new ICs. Now, if you are, a mature IC, lots of years of experience, I would like to hear your feedback. So if you have anything to share with us, feel free to connect with us. And, you know who we are, what we do, our service offerings as well. But if you have any suggestions, feedback, recommendations, please send them to myself, and I will definitely share them with our webinar audience. Okay, excellent. Okay. I hope these questions were very helpful, and sorry, these sales tips were helpful, and again, we'll try to make it better as we go. A few questions just to finalize some things here, and before everybody starts leaving, I recommend that if you can, when you have a chance, if you can give us a nice heads up in K2, we'd love to hear from you. Other ICs would love to hear from you. If you can give us a good shout out on the webinars and invite other ICs, that's great. We're all here to help each other, so hopefully you can do that. So let's move on to the questions. Does the mobile unfriendly algorithm impact sites that have separate mobile pages? Does the mobile unfriendly algorithm impact sites that have separate mobile pages? No, I don't think so at this stage. It wouldn't. It shouldn't, because basically the bots will definitely be redirected to the mobile pages right away. Okay, so it shouldn't impact it. As far as we're concerned, Google doesn't really care if your site's responsive or mobile. They just want to make sure that you have a mobile-friendly version of your desktop. So it shouldn't. However, my personal opinion is you kind of want to make it responsive because it allows you to it's just one site versus having a separate mobile site. However, answer to the question, it should not. It should not, because you are serving them a mobile version. At this stage, it shouldn't. Do you think voice search algorithms will be somewhat different to consider? At this stage, Daniel, I think we're still early in the process. Definitely something to consider, I would say, in 2016. Let's see what happens in this year, 2015, with the developments of these assistants. Voice assistants, and hopefully we'll get more clarity. But at this stage, no, because the algorithms are not, they are kind of still, I know that Google's still working on that, but they are not perfected where they've launched and said that you also have to have voice search friendly websites. But it's something that's coming down the line. Can you show me an example of a doorway page? If you give me 30 seconds, I will show you that. I apologize. So here's a quick example of a doorway page. Just 1 second here. If you look at this site, cargers.com, basically all they've done is it's a website, and here it is so it's a doorway page because it takes you, they've actually optimized this for listings sitemap, and then basically it just takes you to a bunch of sub pages, and these are city pages. So this was actually one that was shown on moz.com, so I'm going to share that with the team here, with the group here. Okay, here's another one from Google that kind of talks about doorway pages. So there's a lot of examples that you can find in regards to how do doorway pages work, why you want to avoid them, and some samples. So definitely, if you have more questions on that, Mark, I'll try to send you more information after the webinar. Okay, more questions that I have here quickly. Let me see here. I know I have a couple more. I think that's about it at this moment. If I missed anything, my apologies. Simply just let us send us an email, and definitely we'll be touching base with you, and we look forward to having you here again next week. Have yourself a great week, and if any questions have been missed, I will definitely take a note and send you an email as well. Again, Amalia?
Yes, just want to say thank you to everyone, and we look forward to next week.
Excellent. Take care. Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.